Hello, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving weekend, and welcome to another edition of Superkickin with Steven and Greg. Right here, your favorite host. Off last week, we did give you a quick Facebook update. Just a little predictions for full gear. That was last week. Hard to forget that just happened. We'll catch up on full gear later, Greg. We can always get that maybe next week. We'll get back into all of our usual Raw, SmackDown, NXT, all that good stuff. We thought today we'd do little Survivor Series War Games predictions and then get you off on your way as we head into that tonight. Kicking off 7 o'clock pre-show on Peacock, and then, of course, 8 o'clock because I am expecting quite a exciting show tonight. How about yourself, Greg? How was your Thanksgiving week? And glad to have you here.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving week. Hope it's been a blast and you're eating up and filling up on all the foods and all the fixings. Those leftovers don't eat themselves. So, we got to get it. For me, working at the airport, all you have to do is turn on any news channel at any hour and you're going to see it's the worst year ever, 3-hour waits and TSA, blah, blah, blah. Some years it lives up to the hype and sometimes it's just noise, but very busy, very chaotic, and lots of overtime, not by choice, and a lot less sleep. So I have been grinding, and thank God it's Friday for me and I get 3 days off. But the bad news, I haven't get to watch any wrestling aside from finally getting to watch Raw last night. And I still haven't got to watch Full Gear or any of the AEW stuff since Full Gear. So I'm trying to get caught up and take good notes so we can go over all the juicy bits next week. But busy, crazy week, but it's been fun. Family getting together, friends getting together, get to visit people you haven't talked to in a while. So no complaints here aside from the whole lack of sleep business, but I'll get caught up on that hopefully over the next few days. But ready for some good wrestling tonight. War Games going down, and I've always enjoyed War Games just because, remember the origins of War Games. The old NWA, and usually the Four Horsemen were the house villains for War Games, and it was whatever group of baby faces you could put together to go against the Four Horsemen. And those were always the best War Games. I'm glad they brought it back, and it still pales in comparison to those first War Games with the Horsemen and the group of baby faces they put against the Horsemen, just because they were just focused on the violent aspect of it. Today, they're concentrating on the storyline aspect of it while mixing in all the tables, ladders, and chairs, and
Almost looking for the big spot too.
Right, not toning down the violence, but it's high spot violence. So,
and that's kind of like Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber. I know people complain when Elimination Chamber added the padding. Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, we're going to add padding. So we will get right into it, though. What do we think? War Games tonight, Greg. Do we hear Cult of Personality at any point in the evening? That's the first question I want to throw out there.
Well, I think if they're going to do it, they have to do it at the beginning. Otherwise, that chant is going to hijack the whole show. Yeah. I think it'd be a good idea to, let the crowd in at the show, the live crowd. And, it may be, it'll, if they do it, will most likely, get out, obviously, social media being what it is. Yeah. But get ahead of it, get in front of it so that those chants don't take over the show. Because there's no way they're going to be able to edit all that out. The way they do it, the old WWE, WWF footage and covering up chants that they don't want people to hear. So it's best to let the house know, the fans in the house know if this is not a thing to just out and say it, before cameras start rolling. If it is a thing and it's going to happen, then bust it out at the beginning so people can get their fill, get it out their system, and then enjoy the rest of the show.
Get their fill.
Lead with it, don't close with it. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for failure, in my opinion.
Yeah, and even last night, I don't think we got it as much, but you do wonder if tonight it does pick up. I think somebody brought up they should have Grayson Waller come out to it and just let the crowd, and then if that's the case, then you would hope Punk comes out there, hits a GTS, and goes home. That type of deal. But and if Nakamura was going to be saying, "Hey, I'm going to ask for my mystery opponent," I'm calling out whoever, then it'd have to be Punk answering that call. But it sounds like the Nakamura stuff is going to wait out. I was almost maybe wondering if AJ Styles might answer that, but I know he's on SmackDown, so probably doesn't work as well. But very curious where the Nakamura stuff is going, because eventually we got to get that paid off. But yeah, I think I'm in your camp. I think you want Randy Orton to be the big story at the end of the night with whatever he does. I don't foresee him for turning. Some people have already called him turn heel, Greg, and I'm like, it's way too soon for that, because you already had Drew, I think, kind of being positioned as your number one heel. So I don't think you have Randy Orton do that too. If anything, I see a Drew-Randy feud coming out of it, just as the last members being announced and all that. So I will say it doesn't happen, Greg. So when it does happen, I'll be like, oh my God, it happened. I got to go on the not going to happen, because it doesn't feel like there's a spot there now for Punk to show up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that we all love for it to happen.
Yeah.
Even though there's beef with, Triple H and Punk, Triple H is going to do what's best for business at the end of the day. And he still draws money, and people are going to be willing to, the viewership will go up if Punk is added to the roster. That's no doubt about that. Just to see what he's going to say when he has that mic in his hand. And especially after what's happening with AAW. So as far as my official prediction, will Punk be here tonight? I'm actually going to say yeah. All the
there is
breadcrumbs are lining up,
so he can show up whenever.
Right, but that was the whole thing. Has the non-compete expired, or
I would assume if you're fired, I would think if you're fired, your contract's terminated. So
right,
versus released, where you're kind of still on that contract in a way.
Yeah, you want to talk about Royal Rumble moments.
Yeah,
having Randy Orton return and CM Punk return. That's going to be. This would be a Royal Rumble year, not a Royal Rumble year.
Royal Rumble pop.
Yeah, no.
Kind of, yeah.
A Survivor Series, year to remember.
Yeah.
With those two.
Like the Shield debuting and Undertaker debuting and The Rock debuted at Survivor Series, the screw job. You would hold that up pretty high if Punk shows up tonight. And like you said, I think it has to happen at the beginning. I don't think he needs to be involved in the WarGames match. I think he'd be throwing too much there. So let's try to start predicting some matches, Greg. I think we'll leave the WarGames matches at the end. I'll let you tackle it first. Which one do you want to talk about? Zoe and Rhea, Santos Escobar, and now Dragon Lee, who replaced Carlito after Escobar totally took out Carlito, or Gunther and Miz, Greg? Which one would you like to tackle first, and then we'll bounce back and forth?
Let's start with Gunther and Miz.
No real surprises here. It's got to be Gunther, right? I just don't see any way. Miz will put up a fight. I think Gunther will make Miz look good. Miz will, of course, make Gunther look even better than he usually is. It's a good match, though, for Miz to kind of show, I think, a little more to his side now. And we'll see how this face turn goes, right?
Absolutely. I think if a War Games the match does not start tonight, that this will be the match that starts tonight.
Yeah,
That's kind
I
of
can
why I
see
picked
that.
this one first.
Hmm.
But seeing it has how there will be a women's and men's War Games match that one will be at the beginning and one will be
Yeah.
at the end. Uh, but they decided to lead into it. This match is the perfect one. It's always interesting when they try to turn Miz face just because it's Miz's rep, and are they gonna be able to get Miz that love?
Hmm.
Um, because he's earned it with us.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
real world to now, he's earned his stripes.
Hmm.
And when he does go babyface, he's really good. We love him better as a heel, of course, but um, when he's a babyface and he's playing the emotional card and throwing out those type of promos, people get behind it and
Hmm.
buy into it for a while. So he's that good to be able to. He's MJF-ish as
Yeah.
far as that goes. Um, he is a lovable character. If you watch his Ms. and Mrs. and um, the stuff he's done on regular TV, the guy's an actual likable character. I think in real life, I enjoy getting the chance to hang out with him.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's kind of the measuring stick. You see people on TV and you think this guy would be a real jerk. And there's no way I want to cross paths with him on any level.
Hmm.
Miz is somebody I think would be cool to sit and talk to, and um,
I think he's got
you
that
know,
Midwest in him still because he is from Cleveland. So you got to think still has some of that hospitality. Like that's what we're all about here in the Midwest.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And he seems to be one of those guys, those guy next door type of guys, in attitude, and the whole Miz character is, him ramped up to 10 and, over the top. I think real life Miz is a lot more low key and,
Yeah.
you know, easy going. But like you said, Gunther's going to make him look like $1 million. He's going to, I think it's going to be a great match, one of the underestimated matches.
Hmm.
Gunther's still going to win, but, Miz is going to get more of that fan support just from having such a strong showing.
Oh yeah. Yep. It should be a really decent match. I guess it's interesting because we'll have the women's War Games Advantage match in the kickoff show. So you wonder if they do kick off the night with the women's War Game. With that being so, do you need some downtime between that? But um, it should be interesting to see. How about Gunther? Or sorry, not Gunther. We just did that. So yeah, so you're predicting Gunther all the way.
Sure,
I mean, I
absolutely.
think we've said it, Greg. I think he's carrying that title till Mania, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it.
And then whenever you know whoever comes out and takes it from him will be. There's still the idea of Brock out there. Brock does not need the IC title at all. If we were doing the let's finish the story, that should be Gable getting it, Greg. But I don't see Gable. Gable's going to need a very big push to get back in that forefront. So just with the way they've been positioning him now. Big Ben brought this up. You hear about Cena. Well, we can't see him, Big Ben. So you tell us in the comments what did we hear because I've not heard anything about Cena. Well, I know he did have surgery on both arms, which seems like a pretty big surgery, Greg.
Yeah,
Which makes you wonder about all of his acting stuff. So, um, yeah, I don't know what was going on, but I'm pretty sure he said successful surgery on both arms. So that's a pretty big deal surgery. So we'll see what that means for Peacemaker or yeah Peacekeeper, the TV show, because I thought that should be coming back soon. Whatever movies he's got lined up. So yeah, that's kind of the big news on Cena, and if we see surgery on both, probably won't come back. Well, that would be interesting because what a way to go out, putting over Solo the way he did at Crown Jewel. That would
yeah.
that'd be the ultimate. What a 360 for him to think about where Cena started, Greg, and then where he would be. So I
Hmm.
personally hope he comes back, gets a quick WrestleMania moment, even if it's a 5-minute squash match, gets that win, the win that he hasn't had, and then moves on. So um, yeah, it should be interesting to see. But how about Zoe Stark and Rhea Ripley? Oh, Rhea, Greg. I just don't see Zoe. I don't. I really have no excitement for this match. We're running out of contenders for Rhea. We're really got we kind of threw everybody at the wall at Crown Jewel, Greg, which I thought was at the time a good idea, but now it's like, well, now who do we got? So I don't know. Rhea might be holding that title till Mania at this rate, Greg.
Yeah. No, it's like you said, for this match at all. It seems like we've already seen it, even though we haven't really seen it. There's been too many interactions with them,
Yeah.
and there's no juice behind it. There's nobody cares really. I mean, you've had her, Rhea, you've had Zoe, you've had Raquel, you've had the characters we care the least about all thrown into one big pie, and this is going to be like the bathroom break match unless they figure out a way to make this a banger. And I'm not seeing how they do that, but um, yeah, this looks like a setup for
Whoever's next.
the new contender. And I have, like I said, since they came back from the Bahamas, I've been able to watch very little, but I think this would be a good entry point for Jade Cargill.
Yep.
That after she smashes Zoe, that Jay's music hits, and she comes out, and we get a face off, and that would give us that oh boy moment.
Yeah.
To keep
especially
it.
Since she's being listed as on Raw, and we haven't seen anything now, Greg. So it'd be a nice oh yeah, don't forget. So.
Yeah, they give us a chance to forget it, and now when she comes out and stands in front of Rhea, and she's 4 or 5 inches taller and looking down on her, all muscled out to the nines, and then we have looking forward to seeing how that's going to go down. And this would be a would make having to suffer through that match worth it. So that's going to be my called shot, is that we're going to see Jade. And this is a great stage for Jade to come out. Everybody's going to be watching, and she can make a grand entrance and introduce herself properly to the WWE universe.
Yeah, and I could see the Chicago crowd give her some nice treatment, even though I think they're going to be all on Rhea tonight, Greg. Zoe's not going to get any cheers. Like this Chicago crowd is going to be all in Rhea's corner. So. Now, Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar is the odd one because you have Dragon Lee being positioned pretty high, Craig. But then you have Escobar fresh off a heel turn and trying to recapture, himself as, a solo guy. It's being mentioned Humberto and Angel Garza will join him soon, Greg, which I think I'm fine with. We mentioned maybe even to the side, so I think Humberto and Angel getting another shot with Escobar would be a good kind of feud to position them in. I'm going to call Escobar, Greg, even though I think you probably want to do some sort of DQ or you want to do something to mess it up. Because really, neither guy needs to win over the other guy.
True.
So which side are you calling for on this one?
Yeah, this plays into my point, is that if Escobar is going to, go against the face characters in the LWO, he's going to need more people, and Humberto and Cousin are going to make the wise choices. It fits.
With their kind of new attitude, new look. Well, not new look, but I think they'd be perfect to kind of be positioned there.
Yeah, so I like that aspect of it.
And maybe they debut tonight to kind of help beat down Dragon Lee.
That's it. And maybe we see the formation of the new faction.
Yeah.
LWO, you have the anti-LWO, and you can call them,
I was trying to think,
what was
Escobar La Familia? Was that his? With him and Elektra.
Legado del Fantasma.
That's Delgado. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah. So,
Maybe you could
you
do a
reprise
Delgado.
Logado with Humberto and Angel,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have them go against the LWO and have a little turf war. So I like that idea. And then as far as who's going to win the match, uh, I think with all the crossfire between the LWO and uh, we'll call them the new Legato, that this is a good spot for Dragon Lee to you know
Get the win.
pick the scraps and catch somebody off guard when they're distracted by
Maybe
somebody on
Damon.
the other side.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah,
So
that's what I said.
I'll,
It's tough. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll say I'll go and put my money on Dragon Lee.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's so tough because, like I said, I feel like both guys are trying to earn their stripes, on their own now. So, how about the women's war game match, Greg? Um, so last night we saw Bailey get the win for her team. It was her and Asuka, Greg, against Becky and Charlotte. And Becky and Charlotte had a miscommunication. Apparently, Becky likes to get her mouth busted open at Survivor Series showdowns, Greg, because her mouth was hit last night. Not as bad as when Nia got her nose, the one episode, the Go Home show, but there's a little
Hmm.
blood coming from the mouth. So uh, I could see a win for either side, Greg, and I could still see Bailey getting kicked out of damage control soon enough. Because even last time she came out by herself, all the other girls were sitting back, like, oh yeah, we totally wanted you to do that. I really like the role they put Dakota Kai in, because she's injured. Obviously, she still has that big knee brace, so she's probably not fully back, Greg. But they're giving her screen time to still build her up as a new leader for damage control. And like you said, your hot Asian girlfriend stable, Greg. I can only imagine what you might need when that screen time is on. We might need the girlfriend out of the room, right? When all three of those hot Asian girlfriends are on the TV. So, um, and Dakota's not a bad looker too. Even though Greg, she does play for the other side. If you catch my drift, what I've heard. I don't know if you've heard. It's her and Shayna are an item, at least they used to be. So um,
Hmm.
I can imagine that the household of Mia Yim, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, and that was a very interesting household, I bet, back in the day, Greg. So, because I think they were
Yeah.
all roommates for a little bit. So, who knows what happened behind closed doors there. So, but yeah, I mean, it feels like it's got to be the faces side because you feel like Bailey's got to be the one that's, takes the big L. That's why she gets kicked out. But then, like I said, maybe Bailey doesn't do anything in the match, gets the win, get like Asuka gets the win, and Bailey's celebrating like she got the win, they kick her out anyway. So it's a weird dilemma. I mean, it's not a weird dilemma. It's like you're going to get Bailey out of damage control either way. So I'll call for the faces. I think Becky and Charlotte actually get on the right page. I feel like it'll be them two against all four women, Greg, and they'll kind of have to just barrel through. So um, I'm going to call the face side of the women's side, whatever team we're calling them, because they don't really have a name. So, which direction are you going in for Bailey?
Yeah, that's going to be the end story of this whole thing is poor Bailey, because
It
I
won't
think
happen tonight, though, do you think?
I think it would be best if it did.
Okay.
Uh, I'll say tonight or tomorrow night on Raw, but say Monday night on
Monday
Raw.
night.
But it would be better if it happened tonight, just because um, of that moment. You're still hyped from. I'm going to say they win the match, and while they're celebrating in the ring, that's
They
when
kick her out anyway.
Bailey's going crazy with the celebration, and everybody else stops and just look at her until she catches it and goes, "Uh
Yep.
oh."
Yeah.
And nobody sells that better than Bailey did. You think back a couple weeks ago
I mean, she's been,
when
yeah.
they said one person here is not in damage control. Um,
Mhm.
but that's going to be a huge, huge moment, and no, Bailey's the perfect person for it.
Mhm.
Um, So I think a
Especially if you
scenario
have
like
Bailey
that,
maybe win the advantage for them tonight. And
right?
then maybe Bailey's the odd woman out or something. Like maybe she's the only one eliminated or something weird like that.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the match, the heels win. So I'm going to call it opposite of you.
Damage control. Okay.
Damage control wins, and then um, they're going to eliminate Bailey. And the story is he's going to have to, go to the other side, and nobody on the face side is going to want anything to do with her.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also putting three of the four horsewomen back together.
Yeah.
Would be the storyline to follow with
When we
that.
could get that final one,
Right.
the final piece, the final gauntlet, Infinity Stone, as they call it, Greg. That's unfortunately not going to happen, but
True.
at least not anytime soon. But I'm sure Triple H is probably he probably has her on a speed dial, Greg, if that contract ever is close to the end. So
Yeah, like I said, it's about creating moments and having this moment happen right here. In addition to the other stuff we're forecasting for tonight,
yeah,
would make this one of the most epic Survivor Series ever.
yeah, I get you want to have enough. So and then finally the men's match. I think we both predict this will main event. Uh, Lots of sing-alongs, Greg. Orton comes in, hits a couple RKO's. Uh, Sorry, JD, you're probably getting eliminated quickly. For some reason, I don't see JD having a big moment in this match, Greg. I think it's truly coming down to Drew. What is he going to do for Judgment Day? Because now that you put JD officially in Judgment Day, or unofficially, I guess, does he really need to prove himself? But this is really all about Drew and Randy, right? I mean, that's kind of the final two pieces. Cody, I feel like Cody will have a big night to kind of keep him moving along. But you could have, maybe you have Jimmy Uso show up and either mess with Cody or Jay, kind of because we haven't really seen much of the blood. We saw a little bit last week on SmackDown. Cody had to help out LA Knight with Solo and Jimmy Uso. So maybe you get a little bit of that tonight, tease. But I think I'm going to call the faces on this one too. It feels like, with the Orton return, with, what you want to do with Cody, I think but I think they're really going to try to throw a lot of big spots in here. And, it's going to be interesting what they say. Jay and Sammy are the only two, Greg, who have ever been in this WarGames match. That's 2 out of the 8, or sorry, 2 out of the 10. So 8 guys who've never experienced this. I think Dom too. We really haven't seen, we've seen Dom get beaten down by his dad here and there, but we really haven't seen Dominic take this type of, match, Greg. So it should be interesting to see what kind of spots they give him, as far as this is concerned. But when we even get to this match, between the entrances alone, Greg, I feel like they'll need to start this, 10 o'clock? Start the entrances alone, give everybody time to sing along, to get through the entrances. So I feel like this will probably be, good 45 minutes just trying to get this through. So which side are you going? The heels, Judgment Day, or are you going to go Cody's Avengers, I guess we'll call them? That's what they seem like to me.
Yeah, I agree with you that 15 minutes are going to go by with just entrances before the bell rings, with all the hype music in this match. And Randy himself is probably going to get a 5-minute entrance with everybody loving on him. So he may get a longer, sing along than Seth. But part of the reason I went with the heels for the women's war games because I don't think the faces should win both war games.
And that's tough too.
Right, and it would make more sense for the women to win on the heel side just because it makes more sense with the people involved. Asuka, Kyrie, and Io they're going to be a lot more of a solid team than anybody else. So it makes sense, and it gives them, Charlotte and the other faces, something to work towards. Whereas in this one, this is the heroes, try to take down the group that does run Monday Night Raw. So um, I think that this has to end with Randy Orton holding his hands high and getting that love and absorbing it from the crowd. Um, Maybe there's a spot where somebody's diving off the cage and Randy's catching him in an RKO. Um,
JD.
the moment of the mother of all RKOs.
Yeah, we haven't seen one from the top of the WarGames cage.
Right, and I have to give myself the old Barry Horowitz for correctly picking the fifth member. And like I said, it's the perfect place for him just because he just got back. He doesn't have to carry a whole match on his own, and he's going to get plenty of moments. Yep, he gets plenty of time to shine, and he's going to get the heroes welcome back. And after the baby faces win, he's going to get his, get to absorb all that love and get his official, welcome back and be placed right at the top of the pecking order on that main event tier. So it makes perfect sense, and I think we get a good, solid, violent match, almost on an AEW level, but it'll play out so that the faces get the win.
And I do hate my both faces win, but I see cases for both, and that's where I'm going with that. So I think it's just be a fun night. The Chicago crowd is always good. We had AEW there the other night. I do definitely next week, Greg, we want to talk about the Young Bucks and where they're heading because I'm hearing some interesting, news items. Well, them turning heel, and what that will mean. So we might not see BTE anymore on YouTube. So that's very interesting, to kind of play that up, whatnot. So other than that, I'm pretty excited for tonight. I think it's going to be a good night. I will say, Greg, I can't go a show tonight without saying, so we're doing another show on a birthday. This is my dad's birthday this time, Greg. New Year's Eve last year, we had my mom's birthday because I believe we did it on, because New Year's Eve was on a Saturday. So I had to wish my namesake, Steve Sr., a happy birthday, which I know he's not watching this at all because he does not partake in the wrestling watching. Usually he will come down for like 2 minutes and be like, okay, I'm out. And then goes upstairs and watches whatever he's going to watch upstairs. So on Monday nights. But happy birthday to the patriarch of our family, as they call it. And always happy
Absolutely. Happy birthday.
Give my dad a 68th birthday today. 68. So
nice.
Crazy to think. So but good weekend. You got, like you said, eat some turkey, get some rolls and all that good stuff. And just a really good. And here we are. We're off and running towards December. And what do we got? We got next month. We'll have deadline for NXT. We won't have anything for the main roster side, which will kind of be nice. And then we have World's End, Greg. Samoa Joe gets another opportunity at MJF. And if we really want to do something, Greg, you got to give Samoa Joe that win because it's on it's on December 30th. So it'll be the second to last day of the year. But man, what a way for Joe to finish up the year. So, and some people brought up some good, interesting theories about the Devil because the Devil showed up, Greg, and there was interesting placement with Adam Cole and the Devil appearing pretty closely. So when you watch that, Greg, you have to kind of keep your eyes on Adam Cole and how quickly the Devil showed up after he was just sitting there. So very interesting because I know you've mentioned all along Undisputed Era 2.0, and now that's starting to look more and more like it'll be, Greg. So some people mentioned Jack Perry as possibly the devil too. I think did we
Mhm.
throw that out there too? Have we thrown that?
Yep, I threw that out last week.
So, and I think that would be an interesting take as well, because people brought up, how I mean, him and MJF just had, the little backstage feud early this year. And we had the Pillars match, so it
Yeah.
makes sense to, I think, Jack. I don't know if Jack Perry's got his one-on-one. So I think the world's in though between Samoa Joe and MJF. Like I said, Greg, just please give me Samoa Joe with that title. don't vacate a title for no reason, right? So I'll be very interested to see what they pull at the end of the year. So yeah, and here in MJF might have already resigned, so that's very interesting as well. But we'll get more into that next week. Any parting shots for the good and the matter, Greg, today?
Well, happy Thanksgiving to Stephen Nation. Hope everybody's had it happy and healthy week, Thanksgiving week, and headed Thanksgiving weekend. And well, it's looking forward to some good wrestling, some good football tomorrow. And
Who do your Chargers got this week?
we got a hard draw with the number one team in the AFC right now, with the Ravens coming into our house. So I'm always going to have confidence. Say we're going to win. I think any team with Justin Herbert, always has a chance, and he's been killing it the last few weeks. Playing great. It's just the defense letting them down.
Yeah.
They have 4-6, 5 of the 6 wins, or 5 of the 6 losses have been by 3 points or less. It's been brutal. And they've lost 2 games in a row by 3 points.
Oh, the Sunday night game.
Yep. So there's got to be a moment we break the hump. This whole season has been win 2, where it started lose 2, win 2, lose 2, win 2. And now we're back to, we've lost 2. This would be a great place to start to win the next 2. So we'll see what happens if it plays the form, but they need to start stringing together some wins if we're going to make the playoffs. So
yeah,
that's what I'm looking forward to tomorrow. A hard-nosed, hopefully low-scoring win. Because if it's a low-scoring game, I think the Chargers can pull that out. So what about the Colts? Who they got?
We got the Buccaneers. So they're 4-6. We're 5-5. I was looking. Texans and Jags play each other tomorrow, and right now they're ahead of the Colts in the division. So, I hate. We're going to root for the Texans because the Jags are ahead of them, but can't forget my Pacers, Greg. 4-0 in season tournament, baby. Hang the banner. Put up the banner. We do get a home game though in the knockout round because we finished with. Wait, no, not yet. Sorry, I think the Bucks are still 3-0, and if their point differential is better, then they would get the home court. So we shall see. But I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it is that weird, like, I don't know. It feels like a college basketball preseason. These tournaments, Greg, where you won the Maui Invitational.
Exactly. Yeah. You get especially the way these courts look. They look a little NIT-ish, I guess. Yeah.
I guess I do like the court changing though, because it does give that feel of like a playoff game. You don't have. I feel like if you kept the court the same, you just be like, oh yeah, it's another regular season game. But Halliburton is looking every bit as an MVP candidate. Greg, your Suns, are you pushing? Are you in that? Whatever the preseason, the in-season tournament.
No, it's all about getting our big 3 on the floor together, and now it's been said that Bradley Beal is going to be out another 3 weeks. They're going to reevaluate him after 3 weeks, but whatever it takes to get him back on the floor. I think that's where the rubber meets the road when he finally comes back and
Mhm.
they finally figure out how all the pieces fit and start playing together. And by the time they roll into the playoffs, they'll be a well-oiled machine. So we're not really worried about the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
They're just treading water at 500, and that's all they need to do. Just don't get too far in the weeds and end up with a losing record at this
Mhm.
point.
Yeah.
So staying at 500 until everybody's healthy and ready to go, which is just fine. Um, so
Lakers clinched a spot 2. Um, so the Lakers will be moving on, and then I see the Kings are 3-0, and then Pelicans are there. So it looks like we got some teams getting close, but it's a it's a thing. I don't know. I'd still put it closer to the All-Star game, wouldn't you?
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I know, and it's weird because I mean, even if you did it the week before, because then you could still have the guys playing the All-Star game the next weekend. So I don't know. It's just weird timing. I guess it does lead into those Christmas Day games because I think what did it say? The championship is December 9th. So you kind of have this out of the way the Christmas Day. I've always said, Greg, that one season that was a lockout, we started Christmas Day, and went 66 games. That was a perfect season. Just enough games. You had game. Now the 3 back to backs. I think it was a little overkill. I think my Pacers had like 2 or 3 of those. So you had 3 games in a row, which I can understand would probably nowadays you got to imagine guys would be resting what 2 out of the 3 games
yeah.
if you're doing a back to back to back. But I think 66 to 70 games is probably the max I would do for a regular season. But yeah, other than that, my Colts will see. This season just weird because we thought we'd have Anthony Richardson, Greg, and now we don't. So it's like, well, heck, let's go for the playoffs. Like it's now it feels like okay, so it's just been an interesting um, way of going about things, and just 5-5, it is what it is. So, but anyways, enjoy tonight, enjoy the weekend. Get some rest tomorrow. I'm going to try to finish up. I haven't started my inside decorations, so I'm hoping to maybe knock those out tomorrow and turn on Steven's Winter Wonderland here December 1st because we love me some Christmas around here. But got my outside
Ah,
started. It was a nice brisk 30 something, 40 something degrees last night or yesterday. Cutting the grass, Greg, and then putting out stuff. My toes were still feeling it. I'll say that. I was warm everywhere else, but man, my feet. I got in. I was like, oh man, I still don't feel much. So, um, yeah, nothing beats cutting the grass in November 25th.
nice.
So with a little brisk wind going. So, but anyways. So. All right. Well, we'll talk to you guys next week. Get caught up on all the news and notes, latest and greatest, and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Enjoy tonight. And we might just hear that little cult personality tonight. Just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me talk to you.